I'm Nurse Jessica Seitz.
And I'm Nurse Erica.
And we're Nurses Uncorked,
the podcast that takes nursing facts
with nursing comedy and makes a cocktail out of them.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button wherever you listen to podcasts. And please rate, review, and download.
Also, if you're interested in supporting Nurses Uncorked podcast and getting early access to episodes, behind-the-scenes content, and bloopers,
check out the Patron link in the description of the podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Nurses Uncorked here. Happy Tuesday or happy Monday for our patrons that listen on Mondays. We are here. It's Nurse Erica. Say hello, Erica.
Hello.
I had to prove to y'all that she was here. And it's myself, Nurse Jessica, and we're back with another Huddle
News Update.
Wah, wah, wah. I don't know what that noise was, but it sounds like something that goes with Huddle News Update. We've got some good ones today. I can't wait to dive into those. But
we
first,
do some timely ones.
Yeah, first I'm going to dive right into this weekly mojito that I'm going to be making here. And
weekly?
Yeah, maybe, because I love mojitos, and I don't know why I haven't been making them weekly for myself, not for the podcast.
Oh, I'm like, am I off the hook? Awesome. You're going to take over every week? Do it.
Although I could do another one because I'm doing a traditional one today, but they also had a recipe for a watermelon mojito, which sounded kind of good too. So maybe I'll do that one a different day on the podcast.
So wait, is this not one of the Cuban drinks that I sent you from the book?
It wasn't. I was going to do it, but it required like a coffee liqueur that I didn't have. I thought it was just made with regular coffee, so I was missing that one, and I didn't want to jack it up. So that will be coming to y'all soon. There's a Cuban redhead. I did look at those today. So stay tuned for that. But traditional mojito, very easy. You take 12 mint leaves, approximately.
12?
That's what it says. Two limes.
Do you have to muddle them like I did?
Yes, you muddle.
Do you have a muddler?
No, I don't. I used a fork and a bowl. I don't know. 2 lime slices, a teaspoon of white sugar. I use Splenda just because I'm a Splenda person. Yep. And then you muddle them. Okay, so I've done that part already because that's a little bit time consuming. Then you're going to add 1.5 fluid ounces of rum, such as like Bacardi, like a traditional white rum, and then 4.5 ounces of diet lemon lime soda. Or you can use regular, I guess. I don't know. This one just called for diet, and that's what I use anyway. So I use diet Sprite. Okay, so I've got my rum and my Sprite right here. Shaky, 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 shaky.
In your Nurses Uncorked shaker.
Yep. And into my Nurses Uncorked glass over ice. And that's got all my muddled ingredients. And this is supposed to be a mojito. I don't know. Well, it was easy enough. So I'll let you know, Garrett. Oh, how's that sound? You usually always do the ASMR.
The ASMR.
My turn today. My turn. All right, let's see. Damn, that's good. Oh my god!
You got a mint leaf.
I just sucked up a mint leaf right up the straw. I don't know if I can eat that, but it's very good. So cheers. Cheers.
I've got a Red Bull. That's sugar free.
Oh god. Well, it's earlier there in Cali. So
yeah,
Cali. What am I saying?
I'm glad I'm not
thinking
in
of
Cali
the fires.
Right,
I think that's why I said California. Yeah. You're close enough to Cali. Whatever.
True. That's true. Those are refreshing, though, those mojitos.
They are. Even though it's cold here in Florida.
How cold?
It's like 50s.
Okay. That's kind of what it is here. And that's, I mean, it's cold for me. January is the coldest in Vegas. It's awful. It's so windy.
I've been chilly. I got my jacket on in the house. I don't do that very often.
I see that.
I'm going to let you start today with our...
I'm starting? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Right.
I've been talking
so
already.
I got 2 stories. Could not talk about the Los Angeles fires and how that has already placed a huge strain on the LA healthcare system, right? Routine medical care and ER services have been disrupted. As of today's what, the 12th of January? I believe the death toll is up to 16. It's scorched over 40,000 acres, 10,000 structures have been damaged, and it is declared an official public health emergency there because of all the respiratory particulate matter and how dangerous that is to breathe in. So
what about the fact that you can light yourself on fire? I would think that
from all the embers.
No, yeah. Have you seen those videos on TikTok of people in their house still?
Yes.
Like, with the fire like looming down on them and they're still there?
Crazy. It's absolutely crazy and so terrifying.
Scary.
I can't imagine. And it looks apocalyptic. Like it looks like it's another country. And this is Southern California, for God's sake, right? It looks so scary. But over 1,400 people, they're saying, and probably a lot more because we don't know yet, have been evacuated from nursing homes and other care facilities down there. And that's per the California Department of Health, the CDPH. At least 3 nursing homes just in Pasadena alone have been destroyed. Terraces at Park Marino, Two Palms Care Center, and Pasadena Park Healthcare and Wellness Center. And speaking of that last one, Pasadena Park Healthcare and Wellness Center, that one you may have seen videos about online on social media and on the news because they evacuated nearly 100 residents, but they didn't evacuate them like get them on transport, right, for EMS or a bus or whatever to go to another facility. They had to evacuate them like across the street. They were in a parking lot with a 7-Eleven and a McDonald's next to them. In the middle of the night, the videos are crazy. They're rushing like wheelchairs across the street, full beds with patients.
It doesn't look real.
The street.
It does not look real. It looks like something out of a movie. With the fire looming in the background,
like very close, and you can barely see. Like the visual it's hard with all the smoke, and obviously they didn't have enough wheelchairs for everyone, so they're pushing these poor patients in the Jerry chairs, the reclining chairs.
It looks like I'm not laughing. It looks like a hot mess. Not to say hot. No pun intended. No pun intended, but it does look like a mess.
Like they were doing everything they could, the healthcare workers, but it looked crazy. And then you had some that were using their walkers that were ambulatory, and they're doing and I mean no disrespect with this, but the geriatric shuffle.
Yeah.
They're going very slowly across a street where people are trying to rush away from the fire and drive, and traffic has to come to a standstill because they're, moving on, and the O2 tanks and all the things across the street into this parking lot. They didn't have time to get supplies. So they didn't have briefs to change. Most of them didn't have socks or shoes on. Or blankets. They didn't have, I read where they didn't have any way to empty the full Foley bags anywhere. They didn't have PPE, they didn't have time to put masks on a lot of them. It was very much a last minute evacuation, which, no criticism, because obviously this is an unprecedented thing, and the winds and everything, it moved very quickly and
it's like 1 minute you're not in a evacuation area, and then next minute the fire's looming in your backyard. Run.
Exactly,
that's what it seems like.
Yeah, it did. But here's the thing, they are required, facilities are required to have detailed disaster response plans in place that include a pre-designated facility. You will partner and have sister facilities so that if one has to evacuate, and evacuation protocols, and ensure that patients continue to receive appropriate care. And SNFs, they're supposed to do annual drills and exercises in this. But what happens if your designated sister facility is also evacuated,
Yeah.
or on fire, or, like, what are you supposed to do?
You go to
So
McDonald's.
a parking lot. So they ended up transporting eventually a lot of these patients from different facilities to the Pasadena Civic Center auditorium. And of course, they didn't have like beds, for everyone there. They were just kind of shoved in there until they could finally transport them somewhere else. But it was just chaos. If you go online and look at the videos, you've got people in plain clothes. So I'm sure a lot of families of the loved ones, the residents, showed up and were helping to transport them. And then you've got all these, like nurses and CNAs in their scrubs in the middle of the night, just trying to get these poor people across the street. I mean, it's insanity. Absolutely.
I was just going to say, for anybody that just strictly listens to us, if you ever did, sometimes I splice like little video clips, and I can try to do that in here as we're talking.
Yeah.
So if you ever do want to try to watch the video, our videos are up on Spotify and on YouTube. So if you ever want to, if you ever want to watch it, you can see Erica's lovely face. Or if you just want to hear us, that's okay. That's okay too. But I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah. So there have been a lot of, even outside of nursing homes and long-term care, places that have been nearly evacuated, like Providence St. John's Health, USC, Verdugo Hills Hospital. And then there's a ton that weren't evacuated necessarily, but they're with power outages. So like, I think CHLA, their clinics were closed for 1 or 2 days. UCLA Health closed clinics due to utility shutoffs. So absolutely, the entire healthcare system there in the greater Los Angeles area has been hugely impacted by this. And I just want to, send some love to all the medical professionals out there that are doing their best. Yeah. I mean, you're working in impossible conditions, and thank you for what you're doing. It looks absolutely terrifying, and we're so grateful for you. And a lot of the healthcare workers themselves have been impacted personally. A lot of them have lost homes or their families.
Yep.
Some of them have lost everything, and so some of them, are still showing up to work because we have this obligation, right, in a crisis situation to show up. But then a lot of places are also running even more short-staffed than normal because the employees are dealing with their own losses. So it's really just a complete chaotic mess, I'm sure, down there. But everyone, I'm sure, is doing the best that they can under the circumstances, and just hope and pray for them.
I also want to send a hug to all of our fellow healthcare workers, because I was envisioning, as I watched these videos, a lot of these areas are very ritzy, they're wealthy. And I wonder if their clientele, their patients, are used to being treated with the utmost like perfectionism. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. It could not be, but I'm just picturing like you're trying to shuffle Miss Sophia that's used to being fluffed and tucked, and it's like 10 o'clock at midnight, and you're like, get up.
I'm sure they've got stories where the residents are confused and not cooperating.
We're shuffling you to the McDonald's. Come on. Like, I bet they've had to work their magic to try to get these patients to do and cooperate the best that they can. Like, that had to be challenging.
A lot of them were like memory care facilities or units. So Alzheimer's and dementia and all of
anybody
all of
wants to share their personal stories, please let us know, and we'll cover this again and talk about it, because we were so close to having a fellow nurse on for this week, and we just couldn't quite. Maybe we'll get her on for next week, but if you or anybody that obviously has family or yourself were involved,
we'd love to have you on the podcast and talk to you. I really think that the healthcare workers that are in these extraordinary circumstances are true heroes. And I hate to even use the word hero because it has such a bad connotation now for nurses since the pandemic, right? That kind of backfired on us. But I mean, really, truly, like the ones in, what was it, Tennessee, that had to, with the floods, evacuate onto the roof with the patients and had to be rescued by helicopter. And the ones that went in on horseback and mules in North Carolina to get to the people displaced by the hurricanes because they couldn't access by roads and cars. I mean, like, this is not something they teach us in nursing school.
I want to say, for our Tennessee and North Carolina healthcare workers, you did not get the amount of coverage that you deserve. And I feel like that is not right, because this has been covered way more. And I know fires are dangerous, but so is a freaking hurricane, and so are floods. And I feel like that's shameful that it really, I mean, do you agree with me, Erica? It doesn't seem like it's gotten...
we did a whole podcast episode on it. I forget which number it was, but I'll try to link it in the description. But yeah, you're right. I mean, North Carolina really especially did not get and they're still suffering, like, and they're in the dead of winter. They're still displaced and living in tents and makeshift. And I mean, there's so much going on lately that you can't even focus on one disaster because immediately it's like whiplash. There's another disaster.
I can't believe it's only January 11th. I feel like
I know. 12th.
I'm tired. Is it the 12th? Okay.
Yeah, it's the 12th.
Whatever. I feel like I feel like Christmas was 8 months ago. Like, seriously. And it was just like 2 weeks ago. That's insane, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that what you hear about, it seems like, on the news is the TikTok ban, right? Which is, an issue for sure. And it affects, like us, but it's nowhere near as important as what's going on in Southern California and North Carolina and all these places. But that's getting, it seems like, more news coverage, and I think you and I are going to probably do a patron only episode about the TikTok ban and what our thoughts are on all of that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think we will, because I just don't know anymore.
But yeah, thank you to all the healthcare workers in Los Angeles, and feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to lend you our support and hear your stories.
And I'm sure there's more stories to come, because the fires still are not completely out.
No.
I mean, yeah.
No, not even close.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's going to be more stories to come of it.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn. What do you got?
All right. Well, I'm going to segue into more assisted living facilities, because why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
We've been talking about that a lot lately.
Yeah. So this happened between December 23rd and December 24th of 2024. So just like 2 weeks ago. And this was in Warrensville Heights, Ohio. I don't know where exactly in Ohio that is, but I've never heard of it. It must be a small town. I don't know. But the facility was called Avenue Warrensville Care and Rehabilitation Center. So what had happened was...
I watched that Netflix special.
Oh, right. Wasn't it good? The Jamie Foxx one?
Yeah, the Jamie Foxx one. It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he did gave good, what do you call it? Accolades? Thanks?
Yeah. To the nurses. Yeah.
It was a good one. All right. The news story states that an elderly woman died shortly after being found unresponsive outside of a nursing home. Here's what happened. So, like I was saying, on December 23rd, a 84-year-old patient there was last seen at 8:30 p.m. They had actually seen the patient. At 9:30 p.m., a nurse went to go and check on the patient and said she was not in her room. So they assumed, I guess, the patient at other times had been allowed to leave with her brother for short periods of time. So I think they assumed that possibly the patient had left with her brother as she had in the past. But they checked the logs, like when you sign in, and that patient had no visitors that day. They called the brother in case possibly, I don't know, maybe it got missed on the log or he just got in there. But the brother didn't answer the phone. So the nurse that was assigned to the patient just continued on with the shift. Like, I don't know, maybe they got busy or they just thought the patient was going to miraculously show up. Well, the shift continued for a full 10 hours later. And she then decided to tell a coworker that her patient
was
had
this a nurse?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, a nurse talking to another nurse. I'll get into the specifics of that in a second, but it was a nurse talking to another nurse and basically said, I haven't seen Mrs. What? They didn't say her name, but Mrs. Smith all night. The other coworker was like, what? Excuse me?
Yeah.
That coworker knew what to do and immediately called a code purple. Police were notified. Police came out. They still couldn't find the patient, and the police were able to locate the patient. She was found outside in the corner of the patio that wraps around the outside of the facility, unresponsive.
Oh.
The patient shortly thereafter died in the hospital, and the nurse told the police officers that she was a new grad nurse and she just simply did not know what to do, that nobody had taught her what to do. And that's what she said, that she didn't know to do that in that situation. Now,
to do what? To tell someone? To alert people?
Yeah, or to call a code purple, regardless, to me, where does common sense come in? Like,
exactly. I've never even heard of a code purple. Whatever. It's different in different places. But like, common sense dictates. If you have a missing patient resident, you tell someone. You follow up on it in a timely manner.
Yeah. And to say like, okay, well, I think that's great that they took an initiative to try to call the brother. But when none of that got resolved, like, and you still can't make contact and you don't know where the patient is, you've got to do something, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure this has happened before. Why didn't anyone think to peek outside? Like, that doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where was this? Where?
Ohio.
So was it like hypothermia? Like the weather, I'm sure.
It didn't say. They just said the patient was unresponsive and it was rushed to the ER, where later pronounced maybe the patient was already dead on the porch. I don't know.
Yeah. Because there's been, sadly, other cases of patients being found outside like the next day having basically froze to death.
Oh, I'm sure. And if this was Ohio, isolated. I'm sure it was cold. I mean.
Well, and we're in Snowmageddon right now. So yeah, it's craziness.
So, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be some form of like, I understand that nurses probably aren't getting the training right now that they should, with, there being less nurses willing to work. And I understand that. But to me, this part just seems, if you have a missing patient that is, even if you don't know that it's a code whatever in your facility, you at least know to go to somebody else and say, hey, I can't find so-and-so. Yeah. And like, I would think that would be a red flag, to not just wait and hope they show up.
Well, okay. So let's play devil's advocate for a second. Yeah, I mean, common sense, like we said, that seems obvious. But if you're working in a nursing home and it's night shift, so you probably have 50 damn patients, maybe more, and you are a new grad and you don't even have your time management skills under control yet, and you're being pulled in a million different directions, and maybe you mentioned it, but someone's looking and you mean to follow up, but then Mr. Jones falls, and then you have to deal with, and then you have to go get the this and the that, and before you know it, hours have gone by and you've been distracted and interrupted 300 times, like, that's the reality, right? That doesn't make it okay. It's not an excuse, but that's the reality.
Yeah. It is. And, I mean, I feel like every time something like this happens and, you obviously think then they've got a lawsuit probably on their hands and they've got an
I'm
investigation.
sure.
Then
Yeah.
this new grad nurse is probably worried, is she going to get criminally charged? Because
Yeah. Because
that
in this day
happens.
and age, you probably are, especially in long-term care, especially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I don't know. Be careful, people. And, if you don't get the kind of training that you're supposed to get, I'd pitch a fit. I don't know. If it were me, speak up.
Yeah.
Which leads me into this week's problem of the week.
Problem of the week.
And our problem of the week is brought to you by our sponsor, Stink Bomb Odor Blocker. Thank you, Stink Bomb Odor Blocker. Erica, I have found another amazing use for Stink Bomb Odor Blocker, other than working in healthcare or being on the job. I, as you know, have talked about this before, but they have these adorable little lanyard clips with Stink Bomb. I have started clipping mine to the outside of my purse, on the hook of my purse. And when I ever have to go into a public restroom, which I hate, okay? And some people, they just drop all sorts of things in there. You can take your Stink Bomb with you, dab a little bit under your nose, and you can basically almost eliminate the nasties that people do in the bathrooms. And I've actually had people asking me questions about this now, with it being clipped to the outside of my purse.
That's a great idea. I've heard of people bringing it on airplanes too, because the tiny little bathrooms on airplanes and
Yeah,
the smells. But the stink bomb odor blocker technology really blocks all these odors, and no one knows. You can't see it. It's compact. It's great.
Check it out. Go to stinkbombodorBlocker.com and use code Uncorked15 for 15% off your order. So this problem, I'll be honest, was not directly sent to us, but I found the question posed on social media. So I thought, why not? We'll cover it as a problem of the week because it kind of goes hand in hand with this particular story. So the question came from a new grad nurse, and the new grad nurse asked, why is it that they don't think it's fair that the only thing portrayed about new grads is that they're seen poorly? They're given a bad rap. And why is it that there's never any good stories told about new grad nurses online? I'm going to let you ponder that, Eric. I have my thoughts on that question, but
I think it's nothing new, unfortunately. There's always, you hear the old tired nurses eat their young. Like that's been around forever and ever and ever. And then you have these generational differences and ways of looking at things. And sometimes new grads are unfairly criticized by other generations. And that's why I try to, a lot of the time with my content, I like to point out the positives. I don't like to do a lot of stuff that's anti-nurse. Because you were talking about that I should do a story for this episode, and I was like, no, because that's makes nursing look bad. I don't want to do that.
That's right. So you said I don't want to always do something like that.
Yeah, I try to avoid those things as much as I can. And so I talk about the stuff like how this new generation, like Gen Z nurses and soon to be Gen Alpha nurses, they're very much like not putting up with the BS. They're not going to tolerate all the stuff that we have all tolerated for generations. They're going to recognize the gaslighting, the manipulation. They're going to, maybe say, okay, this is your one chance. Like, I need you to fix this to management, and they're going to be out. They're not going to stick around for some fictitious retirement that barely exists anyway. Like, I love that about them. I absolutely do. But if I'm being really honest and transparent, I do think that nursing curriculums around the country seem to, and this is a generalization, it does not apply to all nursing programs, but it seems to not be going in the right direction.
I agree with that.
And yeah, I think maybe because COVID and we had to get nurses out there and we had to, kind of give them some leeway because they didn't have the learning opportunities that they should have.
Yep.
But we have, it seems, pushed out some, not all, some nurses that are not on the level that they should be. And that's scary. But that being said, there shouldn't be any like bullying. We shouldn't make these blanket statements that, you know, all new nurses are terrible, because they're not. I work with new nurses all the time, and some of them are amazing.
Yeah. Having said that, what I kind of think it's, you know, a twofold. One, and I'm not sure if this is true, but I've been hearing more and more in stories that these nursing curriculums, like you were saying, it's not as competitive anymore. Like when I tried to get into nursing school, it was hard. It was like you had to have
waiting lists.
Yeah. You had to interview, you had to have great grades. Like I'm hearing more and more schools are just letting almost anybody in. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I don't work in a nursing school, so I don't know. But if that is true, that is one part of it. So you might have some people that maybe shouldn't have been accepted into nursing school. Sorry, I'm going to say it. You might not want to hear it, but then the other thing is true that some new grads are getting pushed out faster than they should because they need staff on the unit and they just need a number and a body to fill, and you didn't get your 12 weeks or your 6 weeks or whatever it is because they needed you to start. And that's just the reality of it. But having that said, I would love to share a great story. If you know, hey, let's highlight a new grad that did something amazing. If you have one in your facility, or if you are one,
good idea.
Tell us. I'll share it next week. I would love to highlight a new grad nurse and say something positive. Because like Erica said, I know that they're there. There's amazing nurses everywhere, amazing new grads. So we will do a positive. Maybe we could do a whole episode of positive things about nurses. So if you want to highlight a new grad nurse or highlight yourself, damn, toot your own horn. We don't care.
Yeah.
let us know what you did that was amazing. I don't know. And we can
that's
do
a good
that.
idea. And we've talked for so long. We need to do this episode where we have, you know, the two different generations have like a boomer nurse that's still working.
God, got another mint. But damn, this mojito's
Gen
good.
X. Good.
Yes.
And then a new grad, like Gen Z nurse, and really talk about the differences and the dynamics, because I deal with nurses all the time, both sides, but more so new grads that reach out to me that are struggling with this. And because I feel like I'm kind of in the middle, like age-wise.
Do you know what would be funny is to let the new grad kind of on our podcast interview the older generation nurse. That would be so cool.
That'd be funny.
Like, can you imagine? They'd be like, they'll probably say terms that the older nurses like, what the heck does that even mean? We want to do that too. That's going to be a great episode.
Yeah, because a lot of the time it's really just miscommunication, and they don't understand why the other one is looking at it through a certain lens, but it's not that they're doing anything wrong or inappropriate.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to segue into another story because I have 3. So I'm going to go next and then let you go.
Okay.
Because my next 2 are kind of short, and I feel like we need to do something positive. But this is a positive story. Erica gave me this idea. Yeah. So this is a good story. So it's about a nursing student. It's not a new grad, but it's a nursing student. So, hey, this is good. Yeah. I planned that on purpose. No, I didn't. But
that does flow, though.
Yes. So earlier this year, in January, we had a new Miss America. And her name is Abby Stockard. Hope I'm saying that right. A 22-year-old Auburn nursing student and cheerleader. She was Miss Alabama last June and won Miss America just a week or so ago.
A few days ago. Yeah.
Won Miss America as a nursing student. I'm going to highlight her a little bit. She performed a jazz routine for her talent, because I don't know if you know this, they don't do the swimsuit portion anymore, so they have some other.
I was wondering, I watched part of it online. They don't even like show it on TV. You have to go to like the YouTube live stream.
Oh,
When
really?
did that? Yeah, like when did we stop airing that? I don't
That
know,
used
but
to
I
be
was
a
wondering.
big deal. That used to be a big deal
Yeah.
when Miss America came on. You remember that?
Yeah. I didn't know they got rid of the swimsuit, but I noticed that I wasn't seeing any of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been taken out. The question that Abby was asked was about unemployment, which I thought was a good question. She spoke about COVID and the decline of the labor force participation rates, particularly in 25 to 54-year-olds, saying that it probably attributed more so to the pandemic, causing a lot of people to not really want to go into the workforce. So she encourages more people to first off, go into the workforce, I'm paraphrasing, but also maybe to learn new skills or something different if you're tired of the area that you're particularly in, to maybe try something else. And I think she probably tried to generalize it, but I'm sure that it was nursing that probably was in the back of her mind, I would think, you know. And we talk about that all the time about how, you know, there's so many different areas of nursing you can go into that maybe if you are burnt out on one, but you still want to work, that maybe try, if you still love nursing, maybe try a different area of nursing or something different. So I'm
That's
wondering
one of the
if
great
that's
things about nursing is there's always a new type of nursing you can go do. You can never run out.
So congratulations to Abby and to our new Miss America. I think that's pretty awesome.
Do we know like what semester she's in, how close she is to graduating?
The very end, because she was in her senior year when she won Miss, what did I say? It was Alabama?
Alabama.
Yeah. She was already like at the start of her senior year. So she's probably close to graduating.
So like graduating in May. I wonder how that's going to work with, she's got a whole semester and like preceptorship, and now you're Miss America and you're flying all over the place. I wonder if she's going to have to put that off, which would be hard. Because, you know, once you're in the like the NCLEX mindset and all of that, it's hard to go away and then come back. I don't know. I hope she can finish.
Maybe they'll work with her on it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's pretty amazing to be in nursing school and doing all that at the same time, preparing for one of the highest pageants that there is. I mean, that's a lot of work. So good job, girl. You did it.
She didn't come out in scrubs and read a monologue with the stethoscope.
No, I was wondering. That. But no.
I hope someone does that again and we get a better response.
Yes. No, she did not pull a Kelly Johnson. Yeah. She didn't pull a Kelly. She did something different.
That's a good story.
Sure she probably thought about that if she does know the story. She probably thought about it, but then, you know, you'd feel like you're being a copycat or something, you know.
Yeah.
Plus, she probably figured I don't have the experience yet under my belt, you know, to really
talk about it.
Anyways, so that was a little better, happy story there that just happened. Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got a crazy one and I want to give a trigger warning, but I don't even know what kind of trigger warning, like what this would be categorized under. So just a general trigger warning.
I'm scared.
I know. Well, a portion of it has to, like a small portion has to do with like fetal loss. Okay. So if that's triggering for you. Okay. So this is crazy because I thought this was like an isolated case against one person and I started researching it. Turns out not only is it a whole nationwide, like multi-year investigation of this network, but it's a story that we've covered in the past a long time ago and I had no idea. Do you remember the Harvard Medical School? The guy was stealing the body parts that donated for science.
Yeah.
This is tied into that.
How could I forget? That was one of our first podcasts that we ever did. And we never put it out.
Air it.
We put it to the patrons because it was so awful.
It was so bad because our quality was terrible because we didn't know what the hell we were doing. But yeah, that's one of our patron episodes. We're like, here.
So how could I forget? How could I forget that story?
Okay. So check this out. Okay. The U.S. State's Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Pennsylvania sentenced 39-year-old Angelo Perea to 18 months in federal prison. This just happened like a week or so ago for interstate transport of stolen human remains and body parts. He pled guilty, admitting that between 2018 to 2022, he stole body parts, working as a pathology assistant in a hospital, and sold them. Okay, the body parts include like organs, heart, brain, spleens, testicles, livers, intestines, amputated feet and toes, which came from both living and deceased patients, and miscarried and stillborn fetuses.
Oh gosh.
Which
That's
is
awful.
which is really awful. And in one case, like, this is so bad. A mom had lost a baby. I don't know if it was like stillborn or what, and fetus had gone to the mortuary where it was to be cremated, and the cremated remains returned to the family. Well, the baby wasn't cremated. The body, the fetus, was sold to someone. And they gave the mom, like, I don't know, someone else's ashes. I don't know.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's horrible. And the person that did that only got 15 months in federal prison and has to pay restitution to the parents of only $1,700. Like, that's it. That's
Wow.
it. So there 5 different defendants have already like pled guilty and been sentenced. And it's a big, like, the FBI has been involved, the U.S. Postal Service, because this is, crossing state lines, and often they're sending these body parts through the mail.
What are they wanting
like
with these?
transport?
With the, I apologize. I don't understand. Is it like a fetish? Is it a fetish thing?
No, I don't know. I was thinking about that. Is this like some crazy kinky sex?
Well, the Harvard one,
like...
the Harvard one was kind of like that. Like, it was, there was weird things going on like that people just wanted.
Is it like a vampire thing?
I don't know. Because that's not like you're going to use it for a transplant at that point.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so,
gosh. What are we doing? And
that's
what about
weird.
These poor people that think that they're donating, in the case of donating your body to science, only for some horrible things to be, like, desecrated and done to you for someone to make money. It's absolutely awful.
Nasty. That whole story's nasty.
Yeah, it is. It's this huge, like, nationwide thing, this bust. And so they have arrested not only the people that have been procuring the body parts from, like, either mortuaries or healthcare facilities, but also some of the people that have been buying them. Yeah, it does not say why or the purpose of it, but oh my God, that is awful.
Okay. Well, that is, I'm your delivery truck driver, your body part delivery truck driver. It's like not the Amazon man, but the,
yeah,
that is, ew. Shame on him.
All of them.
I wonder how he got busted. Do you know? Did somebody rat him out?
I don't know, but I suspect that it probably started with the Harvard one, because that's the first one that broke, that we told you guys about. And then I think that probably unraveled this big thing that's been going on, like, nationwide, multi-states. So they've been investigating it for what, I don't know.
All right, lesson learned. Do not sell body parts, guys. Don't, no matter how much it goes for. Just try to
and it doesn't say how much they would sell them for either.
I'm sure it was good money. I'm sure, because anything that's weird like that is, you know how that is. It goes for probably high dollar.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm gonna segue into. I had to bring in P. Diddy. Okay, damn it, I had to bring in P. Diddy.
You had
know
to,
that I
always.
do. And still, I always find a way to turn it into healthcare and nursing. And I'm going to do it again. Okay.
Let's hear it. How are we looping this into healthcare?
All right. So this was an article I read on January. Well, it came out January 9th, but some other places reported on it like around the 6th or 7th of this year. But headline and the story tells, Diddy was furious that Luigi Mangione is seen as a bigger star by other inmates. Okay. Diddy is throwing temper tantrums over Luigi being seen as a hero and getting more attention than he is. Okay. So if you remember, we've reported on this before. Luigi and P. Diddy were both awaiting trial at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Center in New York. They, from what I've heard, have not come in contact with one another as of yet because they're both segregated from the general population. But I think they still have ways of communicating. They talk, to other inmates through, I don't know, the freaking drains on the floor.
They're so resourceful and creative in what they can do. Yeah.
Yeah. So according to this article, other prisoners have been sharing with Luigi their stories about their loved one or losing somebody due to inadequate health care. And they have they see Luigi as somebody that they can vent to regarding this topic. And this particular article says that the prison facility, and we've talked about this, itself offers horrible, inadequate health care to the prisoners there. Yeah. So the inmates are angry about the care that they get. And there's a lot of them, like we were saying, that have had horrible things happen to their family members from claims being denied or not, being able to get a procedure done that they needed.
They can absolutely sympathize because they've been victims of terrible healthcare systems as well.
Yeah. So this is, to me, is the funny part. So they've both pled not guilty, but Diddy says that he is the only one that's really not guilty, and we know that. And we know that. So therefore, Diddy. Yeah. Therefore, he should be getting the respect that he deserves. I'm like, come on, Diddy done. And I want to know what kind of a hissy fit is he throwing? Is he throwing baby oil bottles around the prison cell? Yeah. What is Diddy doing? I'm like, what a baby. What a literal cry baby.
And how crazy is it that, these are arguably the two biggest criminal cases right now in the country.
Yeah.
And that they ended up at the same prison and that they share the same legal team. That's crazy. The coincidences and the connections here.
And and the article also read to say that Luigi has been found multiple times very tearful about the amount of support that he is getting, that it does bring him, some comfort to know that the majority of people support him. And to the person that sent us a nasty message last week.
Bring it up. Tell them.
Because we knew that was coming.
I almost wanted to give them the Enema award, but I have someone better. So tell them what this person sent to us.
Oh God. It was like they said that they used to like our podcast, something to that extent, and that now since we are murderer lovers. It reminds me of like that Mother Lover. That was like a whole Saturday Night Live thing. We're murderer lovers, supposedly. We knew that was going to happen from somebody. We figured. I thought it actually would be more hate comments, but he is just done with us or something. I don't remember the extent of that, but
I'm looking. I gotta find it. Oh, I found it. Okay.
What's it say?
It's I Matt Clark with an E. I Matt Clark says, I used to really enjoy your show. You two swooning over a murderer is disgusting. You sound foolish and immature. Stick to nursing topics.
Whatever. Erica was the one swooning. No, I'm just kidding.
That's true. I am the swooning guilty party. That is true. But you know what? This may come as a shock to you, Matt Clark, because something tells me you're still listening despite that. Nurses are not just, like one-dimensional, right? We're multi-dimensional. We can have interests outside of nursing. Shocking.
No.
Shocking. No. I know. And yeah, clearly this is a nursing centric podcast, and that is what we talk about. But when we talk about other things, there is 99% of the time, almost always, a healthcare tie-in of some sort.
And that whole case is about healthcare. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the whole entire healthcare industry. Yeah. So I'm going to continue swooning over Luigi.
Yeah.
And you can just
you do
go
what you
suck
want,
an egg or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm Matt Clark.
But anyways, and I think we'll give him a part of the Enema of the Week award, but the real Enema of the Week, the real Enema of the Week is brought to you by our sponsor, Happy Bum Co., one of the leaders in at-home enema solutions.
Enema of the Week. So it's a new year, and for a lot of people, that means focusing on their health, right? Making a commitment to really prioritize. And sometimes that means biohacking for some people, and things like at-home enemas, like Happy Bum Co., the leader in at-home enema solutions, is one way that people do that so they can prioritize their gut health, and help with detoxification and the gut microbiome, and keeping things moving.
Yeah, we know healthcare workers don't take enough time for themselves. So this is the best time of year. Start fresh, start new, take time for yourself, and check out happybumco.com. They're offering 15% off of your first bundle if you use code Nurses Uncorked. Erica has an enema for somebody else. I have no idea what it is.
I do. Okay, so CAMC, Charleston Area Medical Center in Charleston, West Virginia, has been, having snowmageddon, right? Like so many places around the country. They have a state of emergency due to the weather. And they put out a memo to employees, and I've seen the memo, and the name at the bottom of it is Brock Pence. Is it Brock or Brock? I think it's Brock Pence. So they put out a memo called the Inclement Weather Bed Rules to employees. And I've seen the memo. It's been posted heavily online, and there's a name at the bottom of it. It doesn't say what their position is, but the name on the memo is Brock Pence. And it goes through a list of rules for employees that have to stay at the hospital because they can't drive home in this inclement weather, right? And so it's things like you should not be doubling up, like sharing a bed. And you have to be out of your room by 5 a.m. Like just these weird rules. Okay, whatever. And then at the bottom of it, it says, thank you for abiding by these rules. Staying at CAMC is a privilege, not a right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a little harsh.
Yeah. I
wait, so this was being passed out to people?
Yes, like it was posted or sent by email or whatever. Yeah. A privilege. No, the hell it's not a privilege to stay at the hospital. I would almost rather walk home in Snowmageddon than stay overnight at the hospital. Absolutely not. Is that ever going to be a privilege? And I've seen pictures of the setup for where they're staying. These are not like empty patient rooms where you get a bed. No, it's like one big room with a bunch of cots. You don't even have a mattress. It's a cot that's like an,
wow.
1/16 of an inch thick.
What a privilege.
Yeah. And so as you can imagine, the employees were less than pleased, and they expressed that. And so the hospital then put out an apology memo that said a bunch of stuff. And then at the bottom, it said, "We apologize for the original message about lodging that did not fully express our appreciation. We're proud of our workers, our employees," whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this week's Enema Award has to go to allegedly Brock Pence, whose name was at the bottom of that memo.
Yeah, that sounds like public information there. I'm just saying, right?
And there's this whole other component of it that's weird. There's this other person who's supposedly, I won't say their name, but again, this is all over social media, but supposedly a senior accountant there at CAMC, who went on Facebook where employees were ranting about the offensive memo, about it being a privilege, and systematically replied to everyone just these horrible things. I'm just going to tell you a couple of them. You dumbasses talking shit about your employer, bitching for no reason. You look dumb as fuck. You dumbass peons, garbing asses. Yeah, like it's bad. It goes on. And I've seen his LinkedIn page and the picture, and there it looks like it's this person, but I won't say the name, that is supposedly a senior accountant there at CAMC. So what the hell is going on?
Right? What
CAMC?
What kind of people
allegedly.
are they hiring? Allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, somebody's got some chips on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this enema is for you. Well deserved. And to that other man, whatever the hell your
Clark.
name.
Yeah.
I Matt Clark. That's like the Nurse Erica.
Oh, shut up.
God. All right. Well, I think that wraps up this week's Nurses Uncorked, guys. Until next time.